Hello and welcome to Fridays with Foster. I'm your host, Foster. I'm actually on a plane right now to Los Angeles, so I am recording this on Thursdays. So it's technically Thursday with Foster, but Thursday afternoon, never too late for a coffee. All right, let's jump into it. This is the ladder of loyalty. This looks very confusing. Hopefully I can simplify this. The section to be really concerned with is the central section here, which is the ladder. Why are we talking about the ladder of loyalty? Well, I'm going to turn to a quote from Gandhi, believe it or not, which is, a customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He is not an interruption to our work. He is the purpose of it. He's not an outsider in our business. He is part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. He is doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. So what we want to do is we want to actually create these opportunities. And we're going to walk through this. So this is actually cut into 4 different parts. Oh, stay on screen, excuse me. First part is the ladder of loyalty. This section here is regarding sales. This section here is regarding customer care. And this section here is regarding marketing. Each one is going to go pretty much linear, and we'll talk about how they connect. But what we want to start with is, where does everybody start? Well, the bottom of the ladder with the arrow, everybody starts as what we call a suspect, right? And by suspect, what we really mean is we suspect that they need our products or services. Great. So how do we actually work our way into that relationship? Well, over on this side in marketing, what we like to do is we like to focus on the process of deselection, right? So we deselect. So we deselect the ones that are not actual customers, potentially, as we go up the ladder, because we're just suspecting that they could want our service. Doesn't mean we want to actually do business with them. What we do from that point to the deselect is we want them to become a prospect, which is more qualified, right? Okay, in order to do that, we really want them to then take an action, right? So if we're going to move them up this ladder, we want them to take an action. So we want to have a call to action. Make no mistake, the action we want them to take here isn't always to buy something from us, believe it or not. It could simply be to watch some educational videos about our product or service, or download a white paper. This is where we like to give in marketing, right? We want to give. And so from this point, we like to get that call to action. If they want to buy now, great. If it's something that they're just thinking about, we want to make sure that we're giving them information to build credibility, thereby the action. Now, the next step, what we really do want, ultimately, is for them to buy something from us. So how do you do that? We take that, they become a shopper. And as a shopper, they say, well, why aren't they a customer? Well, a shopper buys from us once, right? So when they have actually made a decision, they shop from us. From the marketing standpoint, this is where there's crossover between marketing and sales. At this point here, this is where we have to deliver on the marketing promise, right? And the sale actually starts once they buy from you. So we're delivering what we promised through our marketing process. They are buying from us once, and it is our job to engage them, right? From a sales standpoint, we want to engage them, all right? Because we still want them to go up the ladder. Well, what's next up the ladder? The next spot up the ladder is what everybody thinks they start. Everybody thinks we start here, where they become a customer. That is actually not true. People do not start as customers. A customer is somebody that has bought from us before and they've made a decision to come and buy from us again or multiple times, thereby being a customer, or I like to think accustomed to shopping with us, accustomed to paying us for our services or products. So what's that have to do with sales? Well, this is the point where now we need to truly track them. Well, what's that mean? Well, a lot of times where we normally start down here on the suspect part of it, we want to track them in our system, which is great, and see if they maybe just hang around down here or if they go up the ladder. And at some point, if they do, that's great. But we want to begin to track their behavior here, not just put them in our system. How often are they buying from us? How much are they buying? How many different types of services that we offer are they buying? So one client that I had was a property insurance guy. They had really, really high-end stuff and very high-end properties. What we decided to do was to measure the number of different units, not just the total dollar amount that people invested, but the number of different units. We would have a guy who has a $1.5 million home that he insures with us, and that's it. And I asked the question, do you really think that's the only piece of property he owns? Does he have cars? Does he have maybe a plane? Does he have a vacation home or something like that? And he said, well, most likely so. So that all of a sudden didn't look like the best client. But when we looked at another client who maybe had an $800,000 house that was insured with us as one type of insurance, they also had his car, his wife's car, their jewelry, their vacation home, maybe their child's car, and all of these things, as well as life insurance, all of these things were more units. It was maybe less of a dollar amount, but you were certain that it was going to grow. Now you could really work hard at that $1.5 million home insurance client to see about getting more units, but as far as which one was more loyal, already the customer that you're tracking that has more units with you or that has come into more different types of events and continues to as a customer, that's whenever we really have a better understanding of their level of loyalty. So the next step from here is great. This is where we really want to create members. Okay, well, how do we create members? Well, one of the things we have to do, obviously, is we have to track, find out what they're buying and how they come up to a different level within our ladder. How do they qualify for different levels of membership? What we have is once they reach a certain level from a sales standpoint, we have a kit. We have a welcome kit, or we have something that might be a sticker that goes on the door. Sometimes we have chambers and people that do that put a sticker on the door. I'm not saying that's what every company should do, but there's some kind of specific tangible item, whether it be a box. I've got a friend of mine who used to work for a company that actually had what they call a black box, and when you get to a certain point, you actually receive this to say you are now a member and you are now part of us as a company. So let's go over to customer care. So we go up from marketing, we go across to sales. Now we have this sales kit, they become members. Well, what's customer care on that? Well, customer care and membership is where we begin to build community. Right? Community. So they feel like they're a part of something, but they're also a part of something with other people who have a like-minded interest in whatever it might be. HVAC or comic books or something of that nature. And it's based on behaviors. So we want to encourage them to continue buying from us and exhibit specific behaviors. Because the next level up is extremely important. That's the advocate level. Now, when they reach this level, this is kind of where everybody's mom starts. Everybody's mom is an advocate of their son or daughter or what they do, right? So moms are automatically advocates. And what we want to do is we want people to go out and advocate for us and for our services, which is awesome. Now, on the customer care side, what does that mean? Well, that means that we want to incentivize people. Okay? So we want to create an incentive. So when people refer to us, we want to make sure to incentivize them. But also, as advocates, when people send referrals our way, we want to process. And I think I've talked about this before in a referral process. We want to make sure to let them know, talk to Mr. or Mrs. Smith last week. They're coming in for their very first coaching session this week. Or, hey, I talked to them last month. They're going on vacation. We actually have a strategy session planned as soon as they get back on X date. They're wonderful people. Thank you so much. Or it could be we, after a short conversation on the phone, decided I probably wasn't the right fit for them. But I'm always letting the advocate know where their referral stands. And then when they are giving business to my company, I'm going to incentivize them to do that. I can actually create a referral program, an incentivization program, where when different levels of referrals engage and pay me, I can give gifts or I can give things to them. I don't personally have that right now, actually, where it's written out. What I have done, because I have through this process as a customer, at this point, I have a customer care form. I have a form that I get all their information. So their kids, the birthdays, all that kind of stuff, what their interests are. And usually when they get up to this point where they start referring me business, I buy them like a $150, $200 gift card to their favorite restaurant locally. And they're always surprised, like, how did you know that's my favorite restaurant? And I said, I'm just that good. No, I'm kidding. I said, well, I remember you told me. You filled it out on a piece of paper, so I could do something meaningful for you. Now, when we get to that point, these are people that are intentionally advocating for you. The next one is extremely important. This is the top of the top. Raving fans. When you have somebody who becomes a raving fan, it's almost like they're working for you for free. And the reason that they're doing that is because of the level of product or service that you provide. You really want to wow them. At this level, they have nothing but amazing stories about you. And on top of that, they also have stories about people they've referred to you because you continue to kill it. If you're not doing what you're doing it well and consistently, then none of this is going to matter. You can come up with all the tricks, all the kits, all the software tracking systems and everything you want, but you have got to deliver on your product or service, period. And you have to continue to improve it. Part of that through this process, once they become members and advocates, is to survey, ask questions, look for ways to improve it, find out why exactly they're referring you. Why do you continue doing business with me? Is it because you like our relationship? For me as a business coach, of course I like it when people like me, but I would much rather people refer to me because I make them more money. I help them with their business. Yes, I grow their confidence. That's great. But now they own a lake house and they are able to have freedom with their time and attend their kids' Little League games because they're no longer tied into the business. Those kinds of things, those are ways that I measure success. So as we go up to raving fan, what we really want, those people that are up here that we love, we want them to feel exclusive. Okay, that exclusivity is going to come much like I don't know if those of you might remember, Best Buy had a program called Black Tie Care or something like that, and it was a certain level. When you spend enough money with Best Buy, you would get invitations. I'd been invited to something with I can't remember if it was when Apple first came into Best Buy or not, and we actually got to come in as this black tie group, this exclusive group, because we were raving fans. At that point, it was simply for money spent with them, but we were considered raving fans, so they opened the store only to us, sent out written invitations, and invited us into the Best Buy store the night before when it was closed. So after it closed, it was an after-hours deal, and they invited us in. Look at ways that you can continue this exclusivity. People say, well, how do I get to be like that? Well, in this case, it was buy enough computers and stereo equipment. And, well, back when we had stereo equipment, now it would just be buy a bunch of Sonos speakers. So what we want to remember is within the ladder of loyalty, as we go up from suspect to raving fan, we have to take certain steps. It's not going to happen on its own. We have to take certain steps within marketing, crossing over to sales and crossing over to our customer care so we can continue to service them. So finding them, selling them, and continuing to service them and improve our services. That's how we continue to make money from people that enjoy what we do and how we do it. So as you're probably aware, or if you haven't heard this before, it costs 6 times as much to find a new customer, or in this case, new customer, new shopper even, to get to that level. So we really want to take care of the ones that we have and have them continue to feed us as a business. And the thing that's great is, you know who raving fans refer? Usually they refer other raving fans. Like refers like. So if you love your clients, ask them. Say, hey, listen, I love working with you, and I'd love to have more clients like you. Who else do you know that is like you that would appreciate what we do here? So without further ado, my name is Foster, and thank you for joining me for another Fridays with Foster. Have a wonderful day, and good luck with your ladder.